All right, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship here with another video. So last time I reviewed a video about someone who has $128,000 of debt and now currently has a balance of 127,000 and made $7 in a month in using social media. And I think this case is like the opposite, right? But yeah, I think she paid off like a ton of credit card debt. So if I take a look here, 31 years old, married, no kids yet, paying off credit card debt, 63,000, current balance is 17 grand. So, what's the phrase? You go, girl, right? So, not all TikTok debt videos are disasters, but I think if I wanted the most clicks, I'd be like Caleb Hammer, just show the worst of the worst. All right, let's go ahead and watch and see what's up.
I'm exposing my debt so you can feel better about your debt. 5 months ago, I exposed that my husband and I were in over $60,000 of credit card debt. We are now down to $17,000 in credit card debt, and I figured it was time to come clean about the other debt that we're in. Today is just going to be about running through the numbers, so we're going to start at our lowest piece of debt and go all the way up to the biggest chunk of debt. So without further ado, starting off with personal.
Strike one. Strike one. Diet Coke. I don't know if you knew this or not, but apparently Diet Coke is made from bacteria waste, fecal matter. Apparently. I'm not a scientist, but that's what I heard. But strike one. Okay, let's keep watching.
Loans. Personal loan number one is at a balance of $13,993, and that is at a 15.99% interest rate. Personal loan number two is at a balance of $19,027.12 with an interest rate of 16%. Moving on to student loans. Student loan number one is at a balance of $15,100. $27 at a 3.5% interest rate. Student loan number two is at a balance of $19,761.81, and that's at around a 4% interest rate. Sorry to interrupt, but I just realized I forgot to add our car loan into this debt mess. Our current car loan is at $17,477.79, and that is at, I think, a 9% interest rate. Don't come at me for the interest rate. I understand that's really high. And last, but certainly not least, student loan number three, which comes in at a whopping $67,728.52 with an 8.5% interest rate. All of this debt totals $153,115.24. Feel free to Venmo me 24 cents. Just kidding. All right, back to the more put together version of myself. We're still focused on paying off our credit card debt, but we are trying to look to the not so distant future when that credit card debt is paid off and it is now time to tackle this debt. When I started this account, I connected with so many other people who were also in debt, much of it being credit card debt. But many of us are also drowning in student loans. And if that's you, then I totally see you. I plan on documenting the rest of our debt payoff journey. So if you are someone who is morbidly curious about other people's finances or other people's debt, feel free to follow along. But if this were you and this was your debt, what would your first step be to paying this off? Let me know in the comments. I'm really glad you're here, and thanks for watching.
Yeah, it
I'm
would
exposing
definitely
my
be
debt.
the credit cards we'd start off with, but I think that's really good. Went from 60 grand to 16 grand, and I think they make good money and they're probably able to easily pay off the debt. So this is what we're going to do today. We're going to do what we always do, which is debt payoff using a method formerly known as velocity banking. And now we call it the debt cannonball method. Velocity debt cannonball because, state government of Illinois went after other YouTubers selling velocity banking as a business because they used the word banking, and they said, you know what, you're not a bank, so people, I think the rationale is you could get confused, and so we need to fine you $20,000. Anyways, all right, so with this velocity debt cannibal method, how do we do it? Well, the first step is to create a budget. And we're going to undrown ourselves from student loans, auto loans, credit cards, and all that good stuff, right? And we're going to assume we have income of $7,000, but we have more expenses than income. So leaving our checking and savings is negative $159.46. So we're at the cusp of feeling like we're drowning, right? That's essentially what's happened. And then in our expense breakdown, because this is a debt payoff strategy, we have to list every single debt that we have. So we have 5 credit cards here, an auto loan, a student loan, and a mortgage. And then here we have our general expenses that we have to pay for every single month, like food, gas, insurance, and all that good stuff. And so what we're going to do with the velocity debt cannonball method, they can't call it velocity banking, folks. We're going to assume we have the same income and whoopsie, same income, same expenses. And let's go ahead and copy the debts and the expenses, right? And then we're not going to save any money. Okay? So saving money is banned. Like we don't save money here, okay? That's pretty much what this velocity debt cannonball method. It's fancy marketing for not saving money and then using a line of credit to manage your cash flow. So what we're going to try to do is shift some debt over to a line of credit and help us manage our cash flow. So what's a line of credit? It's basically a financial tool where you could borrow money, pay back, and then use it over and over again. So home equity line of credit, business line of credit, personal line of credit. So there's all kinds of lines of credit, but those are the main three, right? And a credit card is technically a line of credit. And they actually have an American Express line of credit where it's like all the loans that you want. I don't know if you should really use that one because a line of credit should offer the most flexibility that you need. So what we're going to do is assume that we have a $150,000 free and clear line of credit. Now, if you're new to the channel, I'm not going to give you the impression that you can get a free and clear line of credit if you have negative $159 left over. Why? Because banks don't lend money to people who need it. If the bank sees that you're negative $159 short and all this debt, you have all this debt, right? They're not going to give you a line of credit because you need money and the bank is a vampire and a leech sees that you have no blood or you're getting your life force blood drained by all the other banks. I mean, look at this. Look at all this debt with all the minimum payments, right? Because minimum payments is how banks make money. You give a bunch of debt to people, make sure that they make minimum payments, and then they'll have their life force drained out of them. And so, because the bank is a leech, they need to see that you're pumped full of blood. And if you're not a pump full of blood, then they can't. There's nothing for them to offer you. Okay, I understand that at a bank that they don't lend money to people who need it because people who need money don't have money and therefore have no blood. No, I'm just kidding. They don't pay you back, right? So that's the bank, what the bank knows in its institutional experience. And so what we're also going to do is rank our debts using something called the cash flow index, right? So cash flow index is relatively easy. It's just the balance of the debt divided by the payment, right? And then it gives you this ranking system. And what you're going to do with this ranking system is pay off these low debts from smallest to largest. And the smaller the debt, especially if it's under 50, that's the ones you want to pay off first because you get more bang for your buck, right? See, if I pay off this mortgage, I literally have to get someone 230,000 to only get 1,400 back in my cash flow. That's totally unacceptable. Okay, 230,000 just for 1,400. Whereas I could pay off, let's say this one and this one's about 40,000, 45,000, and that's more cash flow than this $230,000 mortgage, which is why we start off with the lowest ones first, get more bang for a buck. Okay, and so what we're going to do is just shift some debt with a free and clear line of credit. And you might be wondering, why do I demonstrate with the free and clear line of credit? Because hey, I'm pretty lazy and I just wanted just to demonstrate how easy your life would have been if you knew the strategy from the beginning, right? This is 85,000. So 85,000 and we're going to move that into the line of credit. So 85,000. So think of this as a balance transfer, right? Balance transfer and then guess what happens here? Oh my goodness. These 5 credit cards go to zero, see 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and look at this. We somehow made negative $159 change into $2,668.04, right? So that's basically, when I ever show this to people, they always think like it's magic, right? But I'm just kind of showing you it's just Excel. I just put zeros in, shift some debt, and then I make it look impressive. And then the final step is you put your entire paycheck into the line of credit as an overpayment, take your expenses out of the line of credit, and then rinse and repeat over and over again. Paycheck in, expenses out, and then we'll just be um, paying off our debt uh, relatively quickly. So we're not in negatives anymore. We're in the positive 2000s now. So this is how we get the next month's balance, previous month's interest minus our cash flow. And then what we do is we take the average daily balance, multiply it by the interest rate, and then you divide by 12. Divide by 12, and then you get the interest rate because it's quoted annually, but really the interest is calculated monthly, so it's a little bit deceptive, right? And then so now, how long does it take to pay off that debt? It takes about 36 months. Hold on, let me just quickly check. All right, so copy and paste, and then let's see how long it takes. Yeah, it takes about literally, I guess 3 years to pay it off, right? So 2668.04. All right, so let's go ahead and do it. So that would be how much? It's 85K, 36 months to pay off that debt, all the credit card. Oopsie. All right, so now here we have three more debts left. So credit card's done. Literally at the 3 year mark, we paid it off, and then we have the auto loan, student loan, and the mortgage. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to 36 months. Oh, it's from another demonstration, but let me restore this. So it would be 36 months, 36, 36. Again, so this is a loan calculator that gives you the current balance of the loan, right? And so now you see right here, it's just 36 months, okay? 36 months. And then, yeah. So uh, all you got to do is just follow the cash flow index method, right? So 10 grand. We're going to move it into the line of credit and then get more cash flow. So let's go ahead and do that. Move this into the line of credit. And then so this is going to be plus 10451.48. And then let's go ahead and increase our cash flow by $449. And then now we got $3,000 of cash flow. Okay. And now I'm just going to do this. And then now I'm going to subtract 3117.25. Let's just do this, and we see that it pays off in 40 months. I don't think it made a difference, but yeah, it pays off in 40 months. Okay, so 40 months, and then that's going to be 485 plus 25. That's going to be 110K in about 40 months. And then in 40 months, so let's just do this. So this is 0, 40, 40. Now, what we're going to do is you see that anything above 50, we don't really want to move into a line of credit. And I'd say the only exception to this if the interest rate is higher, same or higher in the loan, right? We could do that, but if it's lower and if there's a big difference, we want to use something called chunking, which is just moving a piece of the loan into the line of credit. So you can't follow the ideology that all loans bad, line of credit good. There's a it depends factor, and there's always going to be a trade-off in everything that you do, right? So what we're going to do here is just move a piece of the loan into the line of credit, and we'll just do about same as our income. It's really not going to matter that much, but let me just do this right here. Let me do this. We have this calculator right here. Give me 1 second to put in the details. So it's about 10 years. What's the payment amount? The payment amount is 444.08. And the interest rate, what is the interest rate? It's 6%. And then the original balance is 40,000. So 40000. And then the loan calculator should tell us the current balance, which is 29221.62. So 29221.62. All right, and then what is our expenses? Our expenses is everything except for the loan we're trying to pay off. Whoopsie, that's not right. Okay, so now let me just kind of do this right here. And this is going to be these two. So that's 3438.66. Those are expenses. 3438.66. Okay. So now this is zero point 0.7 years, right? Zero point 0.7 years is the amount it's going to take to pay off the student loan. So that was really quick. So 0, 40 divided by 12 plus zero point 0.7. Actually, 40 plus zero point 0.7 times 12. That's going to be 49 months. And then that'll be 110 plus 40, 150K. All right. And then the mortgage is 230,000. So now at 49 months, we got to figure out what the balance of the mortgage is. So 49, and it's 218 right here. And then we just do the same thing over and over again. Put in our details. So this is going to be 30-year mortgage. So 30. What's the payment amount? Oopsie. Payment amount is 1438.66, 1438.66. Interest rate right here is 6.4%. And then the original balance is 230,000. And then the current balance is 218,164.25, 218,164.25. And then I'm going to put in the correct expenses. So it's everything except for the loan we're trying to pay off. And I'm just going to go here. So now this is 0. So now this is 2,000. So this is the loan we're trying to pay off. So everything except for the loan we're trying to pay off is right here. And then we see that it gets paid off in 4.2 years. So have you ever seen those like velocity banking videos? And again, we can't call it that because the state of Illinois. They were like, pay off your mortgage in 7, 10 years. We paid it off in about 4.2. And so let's see how long it takes us the total amount of debt to pay off. 49 plus 49 divided by 12 plus 4.2. Oopsie, 12 plus 4.2. So that's 8.28 years, and we're debt free. Okay, debt free. And then that's pretty much it. So now $5,000 of cash flow, debt free, and that's about 150 plus 230, and then we're good to go. So 380,000 in about 8.2 years, and we're all good. All right, well that's it for today, folks. This is Korean Lanta Mentorship. So yeah, let me know what you think. I would love to see her actual numbers, and then I could probably, if I see it, kind of like Neo in the Matrix, I could just probably do it within like 30 minutes to an hour. All I need to know is income, general expenses. She's listed all her debts. Probably need to know the length of the debts too, like the term. And I could get this all done. And all these people like posted their TikTok journeys about being debt free. And then if I look at their situation, I'm probably doing like 30 minutes. Okay. All right. Well, that's it for today, folks. Have a great day. I'll see you on the next video. It's Korean Lanta Mentorship.